Hi, this is Kelly from Crafty Kelly's at www.craftykelly.co.uk. So today I'm going to share some cards and we're going to make some lovely things using this gorgeous new collection from Relative History. So this is an Art Deco collection and I love all things vintage, so this is amazing. It's printed on this really lovely thick high quality cardstock and the imagery is just so in keeping with that era. I absolutely love this. So these are fabulous for either journaling or scrapbook pages. We've got these lovely images so we can just crop out the images that we want for our piece. As you know, I like to make cards, so it will probably be a couple of cards from me. Now, the 12 by 12 paper pack, oh my god. I just love it. Look at all of these beautiful colours and prints. So like I've already picked out a couple, like I want that on my living room walls, or I want that one in the bedroom. They are just so gorgeous, and what I love is they've got the distressed look already. So that takes half the work out of it for me as a card maker. They are single-sided, but when you're making a card you don't need it double-sided, do you? So I absolutely love these. So I'm going to just flip through a couple so you can see what you get in this pack. And look, it is jam-packed of these amazing Art Deco patterns. And they've really hit the nail when it comes to like the colour palette. And see, now, just love the colours. That is just beautiful. Oh, and the peacock, look. I mean, literally, I could just rave about how much I love the colours and designs in this paper pack, because it is just gorgeous and it's going to go a long, long way. So if you are loving this kind of old school, see that to me, that says like background for a mermaid card, or even use it as a mermaid print. That is just beautiful. And then these like bold colours with like bold print as well. Oh, see, that's lovely. Just gorgeous, aren't they? So you get such a variety within this paper pack. And oh, see? That just, I just love it all. Just love it all. So, oh, that's a bit psychedelic. Oh, that's nice. I would love some of these in like fabric print, on fabric, because I'd wear them. I love all the vintage 1950s, 20s clothes and stuff. So they are some gorgeous papers, and we're going to trim some of those down, and we are going to use them to make a couple of cards. To go with that, I do have a stamp set which is perfect for this kind of project. I got this from Create and Craft a little while ago. I've not used it because I've not found a project that I've gone, oh yes, I'm going to use this. But I picked it up fairly cheap, and it is it's called the Ritz Collection, and it is got the Art Deco kind of ladies, and it's got a sentiment that says all that jazz. Yeah, all that jazz, and you're invited, and this really kind of pretty Art Deco-y, I don't know, thing. So I'm loving that. So I'm going to use this today for one of the cards, and we'll see what else we come up with. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out one of the sheets, which was like all the kind of like going out and about bits. And I've picked a couple of them to make a card with. I've also cut down a couple of the pretty pattern papers. So this one is gorgeous, and I thought the black pop would be really nice. Also, to add a little bit of something, a bit of a card, which will give it that nice kind of shiny silhouette. And I'm going to use the All That Jazz stamp. So I'm a bit frugal with cards sometimes, and actually this is a really nice piece of cardstock, so I don't want to hide all of that card just behind here. So you can go ahead and gut it or however you want. So I'm going to take a couple of punches out of it because I'm going to use these on the front of the card. I love this punch. it's a really kind of fun geometric, or just a really nice shape. So that will still fit perfectly and you'll never know. So these little shapes that I've got, I'm going to pop them up, I think maybe behind her, a bit like mirrors. Yeah, I think that will work. So I'm going to pop that to one side. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I'm just using some stamping card. This is the Rare Earth stamping card, and some Rare Earth pitch black ink. Hoping I've got that nicely done. Now you could go ahead and heat emboss this. Oh, I've just smudged it a little. Give it another go. In the silver or in a black, depending what your preference is. There we go, much better. So I'm just going to chop this out. There we go. Now that needs to be mounted on something. And I am thinking probably the silver. Yeah, maybe the silver. Yeah, I think I'm going to mount it onto the silver. And then we can pop that up. So I'm just going to glue that down just to my cardstock for a sec. Then I can just trim it right to size instead of kind of measuring and all of that malarkey. I'm just using Pinfair book binding glue. It's my go-to glue at the moment that I tend to use for most of my projects. I kind of go through stages of glue or tape runner. Here we go. So let's start assembling this, because this has come together really quickly and really simply, which is always nice. So I'm going to adhere this gorgeous paper to my Miri card. The Miri card I'm using is by Kanban. They done a really good deal on like a bulk buy of it a little while ago. I say bulk buy, a pack of it. I think I paid about £7, which is really good for Miri card. And I'm just using an A5 card base. Let me just make sure that's down nicely. I'm going to hold it for a sec. There we go. That like little shimmer just does always like sets your project off. These my distress crayons. These are gorgeous. I've got these in the metallics, so I'm just going to run a bit on my finger. You alright? I'm just going to bring in my messy mat. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to run it along it and give it a good smudge. This is one way to border your cardstock if you don't want to have lots of mats and layers. I just like to do stuff like this, and like the distress crayons are amazing. So pop that to one side, and then these lovely little bits we're going to pop up on some foam pads. These are quite long ones, so I'm going to snip them down. Let's bring that back in so we can kind of gauge whereabouts we're going to pot it. So I'm thinking about there and about there. Maybe bring that down. Have this up here. So the beauty of this actual paper pack is I've had to do minimal stamping, so if you're not a stamper, this will work for your card making projects beautifully. Just need to add in a little bit of mirri and you're away. So it's gonna be hanging over either side, so I'm gonna pop a foam pad in each of the opposite corners that aren't touching the mirri card, and then I'm gonna just blob a little bit of glue on the sides that are. So knowing me, I've probably got the wrong sides. No, I haven't done it right for once. So I'm just going to pop that down. So that's nicely held. Then obviously we need to add our sentiment in. And let's get a couple of blingy bits. Just there we go. And so looking through what I've got, those gems could work. Quite the right pink, quite orange. If you do have alcohol markers, you can always colour your pieces to match. I think they are a really good match. So I'm going to pop one up there, one, two, three. Now, if you like ribbons and twine and stuff, you can always embellish that further with some twine or some ribbon, but I think that's come together really nicely. So next card. So I've cut out a few bits here for us to work with, and I wanted to go for a slanty kind of look. So these two I can use for another card. Well, if I just mixed them up, there we go. The other two I can use for another card. And they're gonna look something like this. So I'm going to use, I've cut out this trim. These two are a Sweet Dixie die, and this one is an Altenew die. But I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, so I cut out a couple, and in this kind of peacocky blue colour cardstock I've got. So to make life easier for me when working with this, I'm just going to get double-sided tape, and I'm just going to hold that in position and tape it so it doesn't come away for now. There we go. Oh, I've got a bit of something on it. That's fine, that'll be covered. So now that I've got that, it'll just make it a little bit easier for me to work with. I don't know if I want that at the top or the bottom. I think the bottom. Yeah. So I'm thinking one of these trims and you. So I don't know if I like that one or that one. Or the little one. I think that one actually. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. First I'm going to just get out all the little bits, because it's got quite a few little bitty bits. I will trim this down so to make it fit. Right, now I've got bits everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to use some bookbinding glue. Now I could have, when I cut this out, popped it onto like a double-sided adhesive strip or something, but it wasn't forward thinking like that. But oh well, that's fine. One of the other reasons I like to use the bookbinding glue is because it dries clear, so if I get any smudged in a place that I don't want it to be, it won't be noticed. Okay, so to kind of make it match up the edges, I'm going to take my large scissors and, just hold it for a little bit longer. I'm going to take those large scissors, just trim along that edge and this edge. And then it like marries up really nicely. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. Almost done. Just going to add a bit of glue and adhere that to my black layer. There we go. I really like that. That's a really nice trim. Don't know if I just pop that down there to hide that little scuffy bit. Yeah, I'm going to mount her onto that. This same kind of. I might do a blue then silver. Yeah, I'll do that. You get an idea in mind and sometimes it changes. So I only want a tiny skinny border. So I'm just going to position that. There we go. And bring in some of that cardstock again, and I'll do the same. There we go. And we will get that sentiment again, all that jazz. So this is a minimal stamping. I could have stamped some of the images, but actually I don't think it needs it. I think the papers are doing all the work for me, so that I don't have to add anything else like that. Okay, so now I've mounted all my little elements. I'm going to pop them up on some foam pads to give the card the dimension I want. Now, I'm not sure if I want it one-sided or in the centre. I think in the centre. Just going to glue that little end down because it's keeps on flopping up. There we go. So I love how well all these papers work together. It's so pretty. So pretty, pretty, pretty. Card base. Okay, so I've got an A5 card base. I'm just going to apply some glue to attach this to the card base. Make sure I'm doing it the right way up. And we can pop these on. If you like a bit of twine and those things, some ribbon or So I've got this kind of like thread, but it's not quite the right colour for this. I do have some silver sequins though. Do I want silver sequins? Nah. So let's pop you central, and then a lovely sentiment. And let's bring these in. So I'm thinking something either silver, or should we just go for gemmy gems? Pearls or gems? Gems. So I'm just going to pop a couple of gems on. One. Pop that down. So there we are, two lovely 1920s cards made with the Relative History paper kit. I love how they've come out. I've only had to add a couple of things really to create these beautiful cards. I'd love to see what you're making with this paper kit, so please either send us your pictures, link them on my Facebook, wherever you want. I'd love to see what you're doing with this kit. Anyway, so this has been Kelly from Crafty Kellys at www.craftykelly.co.uk. Have a great day now.